Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Malibu Pacific Church podcast. Yes, we took a couple weeks off, but now we are back and better than ever, baby. Hey, it's me, Joel, and we got
Andy. How you doing?
Doing well, and hopefully the listeners doing well as well. Hey, if you haven't listened to this past week's Sunday sermon yet, I would say press pause on this podcast because this is a supplemental podcast. It's the conversation after the conversation. But again, we're not going to tell you how to live your life. Yes, we've been saying that for years and years and years. We're just trying to help you, guide through life because we know it's complicated and we want to see you win. So if you want to listen to this podcast, keep listening. If not, go back, listen to the sermon, and then come right back to this podcast because we love to answer questions, comments, concerns, and hand gestures that people have had for Pastor Andy Vomsteeg, whoever's preaching that Sunday. So we are in our brand new series. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. No, not that.
Barely. Kinda.
Kinda, right? So it's called How to Be Happy.
Yes.
And, we know that you spend a lot of time working on sermons, coming up with themes with the teams and things like that too. What nerve was struck when you were thinking through this sermon series? Like what came to mind instead of this?
Actually, it started at the Chamber of Commerce. They put me on the board. I love serving on boards at the Chamber of Commerce. But anyway, boards are great. But they brought maybe you know his name. We need to maybe put it on the show notes at the bottom. The voice of the Los Angeles Rams.
Awesome.
I don't know his name. He came and spoke for about 15, 20 minutes at the chamber. And he said, the one thing that we need around here in our communities, and he said, I grew up in the Palisades. He is the announcer, the voice for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
And he's very well connected in the communities of Malibu, knew Malibu really well. He knows obviously Pacific Palisades really well, and Los Angeles. And he said, in the times of the fires and everything that we've gone through, we need to get back to happy.
Oh,
we need to be a people full of joy. And he's speaking to business owners that by the time somebody drives from Palisades all the way to Malibu, they're probably getting pretty frustrated at 25 miles an hour and it taking 45 minutes an hour, however long it takes. And so our greeters at our restaurants, our guest services, our hosts and hostesses need to, when a customer comes into our store, we need to be happy because it's the number one thing that people are looking for now. So I made a mental note of that about 4 months ago. And I was like, he's making a good point. How important our guest services are, how important our parking team is, that we also need to be greeted. And we need to really work on, you know what? We went through a difficult time, trauma in our communities. Yeah. We need to be happy. Let's return to happy. How do we get happy? And experience some joy and positivity. So anyway, that started. Then I got into Arthur Brown. He's a professor at Harvard. His number one class is on how to be happy at Harvard. And so I've been listening. He's on every podcast in the country right now. Yeah. He's just all over the place. And I bought his book, Strength to Strength. He has a new book coming out. And the stuff that he was saying, that 4 things that we need, or the decline in our society and happiness is because people aren't practicing their faith. They're not close to their friends, having good, healthy relationships in their families, and finding purpose at work. I was like, that's what we talk about every week at church. And literally. So did that. And then Andy Stanley did a series about 10 years ago on what makes you happy. Yeah. And in Santa Rosa, we showed the series, and it's an 8-week series, and it's really, really good. And part of it is going through the Beatitudes. Blessed are, the word blessed means happy are. So between those 3 things, I just thought, I think God is saying something that maybe between what I'm hearing in the Chamber of Commerce that he's encouraging businesses to do, what we need as a community. He's the Cornelius. He's the guy in the culture saying we need more happy after everything we've gone through. Hot topic across the country with Dr. Arthur Brooks. And then I remember Andy Stanley's series. So between the 3, I just thought, you know what? That was a perfect storm. Let's talk about that now again.
Absolutely.
It's what the unchurched are looking for, and it's Jesus's number one sermon, which was the Beatitudes, blessed are. And so I think that, let's itch where people are scratching right now. Is that a term?
It is now. We have bumper stickers available this Sunday for $1.99. Itch where you need to scratch.
I really listened, to answer your question, long answer there. I really listened to, in Acts, Peter had half the vision and Cornelius had half the vision, the Greek and the Jew. And the Holy Spirit is speaking to Peter saying, go to Cornelius, the Gentile. He knows how to reach Gentiles.
Yeah.
And so I really do listen to what's going on in culture because I believe we have the answer.
Absolutely.
And so I heard that, and I knew about the Andy Stanley series, and then I also knew Arthur Brooks is a Christian, and his number one class at Harvard is How to Be Happy, and 400 students, and there's a waiting list to get in his class. So he's hitting a nerve.
Yes.
And he's probably the number one podcaster right now. So between all three, it was like, you know what? I think for us in Palisades and Malibu, it's an issue for us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was between all three.
Yeah. And I love that you're saying about that we're, embracing culture. I really think that Malibu Pacific Church is actually getting ahead of culture too, because we're not letting culture define the church anymore. Right. We are going out there and saying, what is actually going on? What is the problem? And we're here to solve it because we believe that Jesus can fix all those things, right?
And truth is universal.
Yes.
So this Harvard professor does a study on how to be happy from the 1990s and the decline of happiness. What was the cause of the decline? Well, we are not practicing faith.
Yeah.
We don't have close friends. Problems in our families.
Yep.
And not finding your purpose.
Completely.
So Harvard discovered what Jesus talked about 2,000 years ago. So truth, it's timeless.
And I do love that Harvard was like, well, just take out that faith part. The other three sound great, And I think that that's universal too, is, really starting that journey or being a part a long time in that journey of finding a higher, purpose, but also God, to be really honest. That is what it comes down to. There, in AA, in so many different religions and things like that, it always comes down to a higher power, but we know the true answer. That's right. That's what it is. It's less of me, more of God. And I think that that's what's so crucial about the walk with Jesus and also being a part of Malibu Pacific Church is that we can ask any of those types of questions and nobody gets turned away from that kind of stuff too. Right. We have people who are still seeking, who have never heard about Jesus before. And again, we have that thing, there's no such thing as, dumb questions, only people who don't ask the questions that stay dumb. Yeah, and it's a safe place to really...
we say there's no stupid question, right? Yeah. We take your doubts seriously. We say anything called starting point. And so whatever doubts you have, this is a safe place for you to discover, ask those questions. We take your doubts seriously. And it's okay to doubt. And it's okay to ask questions.
Absolutely. One of the things that I just love that you're saying too about the Malibu Chamber of Commerce and finding joy within businesses again, there are so many different mantras. I don't know if you've heard this yet about huge businesses. So of course I look to see Disney, Apple, also Wild, McDonald's, there's a reason why they're almost $1 trillion company. I'm not a I don't need a McDonald's, but for some reason, it's taken off and done its thing, right?
Yeah.
They're ahead of technology and it's kind of wild. But almost all of these places are actually their main slogan for the next year is getting back to customer service, which is like kind of blowing my mind. So even Apple, revolutionary tech, right? Getting back to customer service because people have gotten so frustrated of not being able to just have a conversation with the person.
Yeah.
Or the number one thing that has made everybody really mad at these companies is that, and this was like one of these, fill out the form, what are you most mad about? No one listens. And so that has just been like a really big eye-opener for me is that we need people to listen. Yeah. We need people to just hear. When somebody isn't happy, he doesn't have that joy right now, I think one of the hardest things for somebody to own up to is just, hey, I'm just not happy right now. Because when people ask you, how are you doing?
Listen. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Most of the time when people ask, hey, how are you doing? Most of the time people say like, good. I'm okay, I'm good, and just kind of brush it off. But if we could be that church that listens and get back to not just customer satisfaction, but relationally, the authentic relationship.
Well, that's the number 3.
Exactly.
Having friends that just listen. Exactly. Do you have a friend that listens?
Yeah.
And most people are not happy is because I don't even have friends that are willing to listen. It's great.
And this is a good place to find that community.
That's right.
Excellent place. High caliber people who are searching for that more in life, just like you are. All right, so we're going into the sermon now, and there's the quote that stuck with me, and it's, if you follow our social media, it was on there twice this last week, and I love it. We used the clip of it, and we also used just kind of the paraphrase version of it, and it just really hit home, I think, with everybody. You can sense, over the congregation of, I've never heard anybody on their deathbed, say, bring me my favorite pair of shoes, and it was so, like, it was one of those moments of like, oh yeah, that's so, how do I not realize realize that. Or, honey, please bring me to my favorite car one last time so I can
say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Make my peace.
And reconcile with this car. You know, and I think that every single person had that moment that was on the bus of like, mortality is real. I cannot waste this because there's joy in this world. There's happiness. Obviously, there's sorrow, there's pain, there's all those things as well. But when it comes down to it, that was just such an amazing visual. Where did you get that? You know, like where did that come from? Was that something that you've thought of?
No, that was coming from the point from Andy Stanley from What Makes Me Happy. It's it's all about a who, not a what.
Yeah.
So I just expanded on the what and what are the whats that we think are so important. I think we could have spent a little more time on that, but anyway, because all the things that we think are so important, which are the what, and after what, it's always what else, because what's can never make us completely happy.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, it's getting to the point that it's all about the who and having peace with God, peace with others, and peace with myself. That's all relationally driven. Mm-hmm. And the Pharisees were asking, what's the greatest commandment? A what question. A rule question, not a who. And Jesus responds with a who. Love people, love God, love yourself, the greatest, Matthew 22.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you don't understand. What is the most important commandment, or what is the most important thing in my life? Mm-hmm. Jesus' response is a who, love. It's a relational. So it doesn't make sense. And so life is all about who, it's not a what. And when there's peace with we'll get to it, but when there's peace between the who's, there's happiness.
Totally.
And isn't it amazing, as American culture, we've been sold a lie that we think what will make me happy? Stuff will make us happy.
Absolutely.
And
I've never seen anybody frown on a jet ski.
True, about right.
Just kidding.
And while that becomes a reality on our deathbed, we make peace. I should have said this, I didn't. What are we doing? We're making peace with our family before we die. Mm-hmm. Or we want to go and see mom or dad and make peace with them, harmony with them. So who are we making peace with? A who, not a what. So anyway, on our deathbed is just that. So the point is, Andy Stanley makes a strong point. It's about a who, not a what. And I love that. He's so good at crystallizing that. Mm-hmm. I'm just picking up on the idea on the what. Yeah.
Absolutely. The one question that we did have from Sunday.
All right, we got one.
We got one.
We got a question.
What if you weren't able to make that peace before somebody passed away?
Oh, that's good. Well, that's... Yeah, there's sorrow, there's grief. I wish I had. How many people have said, I wish I had I wish I told them I loved them before I left the house.
Yeah.
Aren't there a bunch of movies on that as well? Like, I wish I didn't know that today was my last day, or before, you hear it all the time. It's like,
every other
make
movie.
Sure you tell your wife, your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know who, your roommates. I love you. Make peace in the day before you go out and spend your day, because it could be our last day.
Yeah.
I don't know what movie I'm thinking about, but make sure on your last.
Yeah, probably Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, maybe.
Just kidding.
Maybe so. I don't know, but maybe I don't know what I'm thinking about.
No,
there's but anyway,
there's so many movies that they lose a loved one, and it's so abrupt.
I didn't know today
it was going to happen. All of a sudden, the movie turns, and you're like, "Wait, the spouse dies."
Right.
The brother, the friend, or whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, for whoever's asking that question, great question. That's why don't wait. Well, what happens? Well, there is. If you watch the movies, there's grief, there's loss. I wish I had. There's disappointment.
Yeah.
There's regret, I guess is the word I'm thinking about. Well, what happens is regret. And I wish I had a chance to tell Dad I loved him, and Mom I loved her, or brother or sister, whoever it is. I wish I had a chance to do that. So there's regret.
Absolutely. So
don't we already know the answer. Yeah. So that was the point of the sermon.
Yeah.
It's about a who, not a what. So don't wait.
Don't wait. Act today.
Make peace with those three today, because today you don't want to be morbid here, but it could be our last day.
It could. Very much well could be.
So make peace with God.
Uh-huh.
Make peace with your family. Mm-hmm. Make peace with yourself. Mm-hmm. I believe they're all connected. So when we make peace with God, we're making peace with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God, forgive me of my sins. I'm making peace with myself. I am not perfect. I am forgiven. It's not about being perfect. It's God's forgiven me. I'm going to heaven, not because I'm perfect, but because I'm forgiven. Forgiven people go to heaven.
Absolutely. Yeah. It just reminds me of a time you were preaching on the book of Joseph, and I was talking to somebody out on the patio, And they said they didn't want to come back to this church because they couldn't see how Joseph could forgive his brothers for what they did.
Absolutely. Oh, I didn't know this. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
They're still around.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Right. It's all good. They didn't come back, though, for like 2 weeks. I was like, oh my gosh, they might be gone. But they had such a hard time with their own sibling, such a hardened heart, that they said there's no way that God would allow Joseph for all those years. Because she said, I went through something and it's only been 10 years. I can't imagine being in jail for,
23 years. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've actually had somebody say to me recently, I just can't buy into all this stuff because it's not reality. The God stuff in the Bible. It's just not reality. We need to live in the real world. And I've been thinking about that. Well, that's exactly in the Lord's Prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Mm-hmm. You are absolutely right. Mm-hmm. God's economy is out of this world.
Completely. Yeah.
You are right. But that's why we have the church. It is breaking into our reality. Mm-hmm. And if we don't believe that God's reality just doesn't work in this world, I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you. I've seen it break into this world. Mm-hmm. But you are right. They did kill Jesus. The Pharisees said, that's not going to work here.
Yeah.
The kingdom stuff you're talking about, that's not going to work here. Mm-hmm. But what happened in Genesis 1 and 2 or Genesis 3 where sin came into this world, mm-hmm. it's like, well, that's how this world operates. God is saying now, the gates of hell cannot stop the kingdom of God coming into this world and breaking into this world.
Yeah.
And the book of Revelation is saying Jesus is coming back to make all things right. Mm-hmm. But heaven is beginning now. We, the church, are breaking into our world, into the dysfunction, into the sin, into the brokenness. Tell Mother Teresa that. That just doesn't work in this world.
Yeah.
Blessed, she took one, we'll talk about it this week, one blessing of the Beatitudes, blessed are the poor.
Yeah.
I'm going to live that out for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to live a life of poverty, and I'm going to bless the poor, which everybody said to Mother Teresa, that's crazy. What are you doing? That doesn't work that way here, especially in a caste system that reincarnation, they're coming back because in their previous life, they did something wrong. And she's breaking into God's reality, into this world's reality and saying, no, God's kingdom loves people. Jesus died for them. Every person matters. And I don't want a single baby to die without being held. I'm going to hold every baby who's starving to death or sick, and they will be held. Mm-hmm. So you tell Mother Teresa, that just doesn't work in this world.
Yeah.
She had a kingdom mindset.
Completely.
And so
that was bigger than her own mindset.
It's God's kingdom coming onto this world. So yeah, these principles you're teaching here don't work here.
Yeah.
I disagree 100% because I've seen people live out kingdom principles.
Completely.
Yeah.
One of the questions I had for that person I was talking to on the patio was about the hardened heart, and just I can't do this because churches, this is going to fix me. God's not going to fix me. I said, is your hardened heart going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt your sibling? Does your sibling even know you have a hardened heart?
Yeah.
And they said, no, they don't, because I don't talk to them anymore. And I said, do you think they think about you all the time? No, absolutely not. I'm just walking around like I'm dying because of this. And I said, well, forgiveness is one of the biggest, and you go into forgiveness, which is one of the hardest things to do,
Yeah.
Like even Christ forgave everybody on death.
It's the whole reason why he came. It is finished.
Yes. Yeah.
I will take care of the justice now.
Yeah.
As we have been forgiven, now you can forgive somebody else. So we've been given a gift.
Yeah.
We can't give what we don't have. Mm-hmm. So you're right. Before Christ, how do we forgive one another?
Totally.
But Christ has forgiven me, and if you accepted that gift, well, then you can give that gift of grace also. Mm-hmm. And this person said, no, it's earned, it's earned. I was like, we didn't earn anything.
Yeah.
And Christ still died for us. The debt was paid 2,000 years ago. You really actually don't have anything to say about it.
Yeah.
It's like getting a ticket, and then you go before the judge to pay your ticket, your speeding ticket, and the judge says, no, there's nothing you can do. Somebody's already paid for the ticket and went to jail for you. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to pay the ticket and go to jail because I was the one speeding. Well, sorry, somebody already did that for you.
Yeah.
So that's what Christ did for us, mm-hmm. and it's a gift.
Totally.
And so now as we've experienced grace, we can give grace to others. Mm-hmm. So, well, that doesn't work here. I just strongly disagree because I believe in the power of God.
Yep.
And what he did on the cross, he broke the power of sin.
Mm-hmm.
It does work in this world.
Yes. And we've read the stories, but we've also
seen life change. People's lives have been changed because of the cross.
That's the thing that blows my mind all the time is that, people say, I just don't see miracles happen like they used to. I'm like, are you joking me? Like,
yeah.
There are miracles that happen constantly.
Every day.
How many stories? And again, it's not everyone because we've had, loss and you can insert, sad emotion here. But I've seen friends, and other friends who all of a sudden had a cancer diagnosis and it's just not there anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, that is above medical science.
That's right.
I've lost friends to cancer too on the opposite side. And so walking by faith, I think through all of this is really key to all of that of trusting God and saying, hey, I know you have what's best for me.
Yeah.
And I think that when you can honestly do that and you're not walking alone, but with a church, an oikos, if you will, that you can find that happiness. And we have another 8 weeks to talk about how to be happy, right?
That's right.
And I'm really looking forward to it because the next couple of weeks, I think when I've seen you preach, we'll just say a handful of times, which is great. I think you really light up when you talk from the Beatitudes. Like there's a couple of pieces of scripture where I'm like, oh man, this is one of Andy's sweet spots because he's just like, yeah, this is probably one of the best things ever, And so as you're going into this, what are you looking forward to be preaching about?
And all of it. I mean, this week is the Beatitudes, but then getting into really the 4 topics and spending 2 weeks on each one that Arthur Brooks, is sharing of his findings, which we as a church have the answers to: how to make peace with God, how to make peace with ourselves, how to make peace with our family.
Yeah.
And we just finished a family series, but talk a little bit about forgiveness there and relationships and how to be good friends and find good friends.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to spend I'm still debating, at least 2 weeks, but maybe 3, but at least 2 weeks on purpose.
Amazing.
And finding purpose in your work and in your life. Yeah. And that brings peace when there's alignment with the way I'm designed with what I'm doing. When there's alignment with those 2 things, there is joy. It is fun. I enjoy. It's not work. It's who I am and my wiring accomplishing my greater purpose on this earth.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's going to be great.
Absolutely. So this was session 1 of How to Be Happy here at Malibu Pacific Church. If you haven't listened to that Sunday sermon yet, you can find that on YouTube or on MalibuPacific.church and find that sermon to listen to it. And you can tune in every Sunday for the month of August at 10 a.m. Sunday mornings here at Malibu Pacific Church on site and online. And you can also rewatch anytime online starting at 11:15 on that Sunday morning. So with that said, we hope you enjoyed Malibu Pacific Church podcast. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button right now. Share this podcast with somebody who needs to hear it. More importantly, share the sermon with somebody who needs to hear it. And even more importantly than that, invite a friend to this community to see and help them find an amazing place to just ask the questions that they're longing to ask. So with that said, everybody, have an amazing week, and we'll see you next time here at Malibu Pacific Church Podcast.
Take care.